Phil Kerpen right now he's on the line right now. He is the president of American Commitment. And there's something the governor has put together here, which is going to end up costing us when it comes to energy. Phil's on the line now. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. So what is this policy? And you're saying that the Assembly and Senate really needs to stand up to this because it's going to cost us down the road.
Yeah, basically, Governor Cuomo adopted the most ambitious renewable energy standard in the country by far. He wants New York to get 50% of its electricity from renewable sources by the year 2030, not 2050, but 2030, just 14 years away. But instead of going to the legislature and saying, I want to change the energy policy for the state, let's vote on this, debate the merits and what have you, he knew that he would have no chance of defending this with the public because it costs billions and billions and billions of dollars to meet this mandate. And so he had the State Public Service Commission adopt it without a vote of the legislature, and this plan has now officially been adopted. And so what we're calling for is for the legislature to at least vote on it. So that, look, if this is going to move forward and people are going to have this big surcharge on their bills, they should at least be able to look up how their elected officials voted on it instead of, the whole thing being implemented by the back door here.
So you're looking at somewhere along the lines of about $900 million plus for the first 2 years that will be a part of a surcharge. What will it cost the individual? What type of surcharge are we looking at?
Well, I mean, it depends on a few factors, but at a minimum, you're going to see a few dollars every month as a new line item, as a surcharge there on your bill. And it's only going to go up dramatically over time as this mandate gets more and more strict over time. And so it's going to be very costly. And, there are a few different estimates on what it ends up being, but it's definitely not going to be cheap. And the question is, what do you get for it? What's the benefit of it? And they'll say, well, it reduces greenhouse gas emissions, which is good for global warming and the planet. Well, even the United States as a whole really can't do anything that makes any difference for that, while China and India are adding new coal plants every single week. The idea that one state is going to make any difference on global warming it's total vanity. It's a fantasy. It's crazy. It makes no difference for that, but it makes a big difference, for pocketbooks. You're going to pay for this dream of having an impact on the global climate when there's nothing one state or even one country can really do that makes a difference for that.
Well, it would. I have to disagree. It would make a very big difference if you're thinking about maybe running for president in 2020. To be able to say, look what I've done. We're one of the greenest states in America. Any political aspirations on this move? Is this political for Cuomo?
Oh, I don't know. Does he still have political operations? Isn't he under pre-Barara investigation these days? I don't know.
It would be interesting. I mean, it'd be a bold move, I guess.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask further to that end. You said about where does what do I get for this? Where does that money go? Does that just go to balance the budget, or does it go to actual green energy projects that maybe, I don't know, some would say can create some jobs? Where does this extra surcharge go?
Well, this is the amazing thing, is that at least in the first few years, almost all the money goes to subsidized nuclear plants owned by one company, Exxon Corporation, which has bought up all the nuclear plants left in the state. And kind of the amazing thing about that is Exxon pitched this same plan in Illinois, its home state, and it got rejected there. And so even a lot of the environmental groups are actually against this because they're anti-global warming, but they're also anti-nuclear, which makes it a little bit interesting because you got opposition to this across the whole political spectrum. Probably one of the reasons Cuomo did it by the Public Service Commission instead of going to the legislature. But a lot of it also goes to wind and solar, and in fact, from a logistical standpoint, one of the huge problems with this plan, besides the fact that it spends an awful lot of money for very little environmental return, is that there are major land use challenges here. I mean, they want to build an amount of wind capacity that will take, hundreds of square miles. And there are real questions what community is going to allow these massive wind installations to be anywhere near them. So I question whether this is actually possible as a practical matter to even meet the goals.
All right, Phil, so you say that our legislators should act on this. What should the people, someone listening right now, what can they do?
Well, I mean, I would contact your assemblyman, contact your state senators, and basically say, look, you owe it to me to at least vote on this plan. You might not have enough votes to stop it, or you might, but you can't just let this move forward without even having a vote on it. That's not the way policies for a state ought to be set.
All right, Phil Kerpen with American Commitment. Thanks so much.
All right, have a good one.
All right, got a break.